My name is Brittany Enright, and this is my final reflection of EDM 310. When I first started EDM 310, I was incredibly nervous. This class deals with a lot of things I have never dealt with before. Before this class, I have never blogged, I have never been on Twitter, and never made a podcast or really worked with the smartboard or any of those things. I knew what everything was. I knew what each of those things were, but I didn't know how to do them myself. And EDM 310 taught me how to master making those things. I remember when we made the podcast in this class, and I was so proud of myself and my group because it was really challenging for us to do, but we never gave up. We kept working on it. From this class, I have learned how to be a continuous learner. I know that I have to keep learning if I want to be able to teach people, because you need to be current on what you're teaching them, or what you're teaching isn't really useful for the students. I have also learned how to work in a group rather well. We had many various group projects in this. We've had, as I mentioned before, the podcast. We also had to create our own smart lesson and know how to use the smartboard and film it and teach that. And we also had a final group project. And I have always been a person who would rather work by myself than work with another person, because I have always been the one who has to do most of the work. I've never really had good group members before, but in this class I had great group members. I learned how to work with people who also really wanted to do well in the class. It was a great experience. We were able to basically learn from each other. It also taught us time management, because it's rather hard to make sure that your schedule matches up with another person's schedule who's also doing college classes. And it taught us to be more understanding and to just work with each other to make sure that we got the project done. So that was something that I've really learned from. I feel like that's really made me grow as a person, and it also made me actually like working in groups, because I had great group members this time, and it was actually an enjoyable experience. So I feel like I can teach others that working in a group can be fun, and that it isn't something you necessarily need to dread. It's not as awful as it seems. And another thing I feel is that I am better as a future teacher now. I feel like I can actually teach my students things that will be useful to them. I learned how to use the smartboard, which was great, and I was actually looking around on Smart Exchange and I found all these awesome games, and I'm thinking now, even though I'm not a teacher yet, I'm thinking of all these ways that I can incorporate the games into future lesson plans, and how I can master smartboard and using the resources around me, and how using those resources will make me create lessons that my students will find engaging and entertaining and will help them learn. So that's another great thing I've learned from this class. It just makes me more confident to become a teacher. I feel like I am prepared and that I shouldn't be very nervous about it, that I can actually do this. And now that I know how to use all these things like Twitter and everything, I can reach my students in different medias, or reach the parents or anything through that. And with developing my PLN, which is my personal learning network, I think that will also be very beneficial. I feel like EDM 310 has really helped me in so many various ways, and I'm incredibly glad that I took this class.